Bienvenue! Oh good, you're here. Come in. I'm in the dressing room and the windows are open, and I have to tell you immediately, I am in the middle of something very particular. I am standing in front of the mirror deciding how much to do. This is the Tuesday ritual, the small negotiation between effort and ease. And at this point in June, the verdict is almost always the same. Less. Less will be sufficient. Less is actually considerably better. The light this morning is coming in at an angle that is honestly flattering to everything. Genuinely, the June morning light in this room at this hour does more than most products I've spent money on. Hair damp from a quick wash, pulled loosely back, beginning to dry. A little SPF on my face, which is also my moisturizer, which is also, at this point in the year, my entire skin routine. A lip balm that has a very faint pink tint because it was sitting on the edge of the sink and I picked it up without thinking. Bare feet on the warm floor. That's it, and I feel, if I'm honest, completely fine about it. Better than fine, actually. Come and sit with me. I want to talk about Barefoot Beauty, the kind that doesn't come from a mirror. A Tuesday dressing room invitation, which today is an act of subtraction rather than addition. Look at your morning routine, the steps you move through before you leave the house, or before you sit down to work, or whatever you do with your prepared self before the day begins. Find one step you could leave out today, not permanently, just today. Maybe it's the thing that takes the most time relative to how much you notice it by 11 o'clock. Maybe it's the step you do out of habit rather than because you actually love the result. Maybe it's just the step that feels hardest to do on a warm Tuesday in June when the morning is already bright and something simpler would feel more honest. Leave that one step out. See what the morning feels like without it. I've been doing this all of June, gradually, and what I notice is I lose very little and gain quite a lot of time. And the light in the morning does more than most products ever could, and I walk out of the dressing room considerably more quickly and in a better mood, which is its own form of beauty, I think. The mood in which you walk into a morning. All right, this is the passage I've been wanting to bring to the dressing room since summer started. George Eliot, Middlemarch, 1871. I have been turning to it lately for reasons I can't entirely explain, but I think the dressing room in June is exactly the right place for it. If we had a keen vision and feeling of all ordinary human life, it would be like hearing the grass grow and the squirrel's heart beat, and we should die of that roar which lies on the other side of silence. The roar on the other side of silence. I've carried that for a long time. What she means, I think, what I've come to think she means, is that ordinary human aliveness, if we could actually feel all of it at once, would be overwhelming. We're mercifully a little dulled to it, but then something lets the sound through, a freckle appearing on an arm that was pale in April, the smell of sunscreen warming on skin, the particular way someone's hair looks when they've been outdoors in the sun all morning rather than indoors at a desk. The body in summer is harder to overlook than the body in winter. All that aliveness right there on the surface. That is what Barefoot Beauty is. The ordinary human life seen with a keen feeling. It was already extraordinary. You only had to be in the light long enough to notice. Come through, I've put on something light and warm that sounds exactly like a Tuesday morning in June with the windows open. Sit or stand at the mirror and do absolutely nothing for a few minutes. Let the music come in from outside the window in your imagination. There, that's 5 minutes well spent. Everything looks better after 5 minutes of not trying to do anything. There was a summer. My oldest was very small, perhaps 4, and we were in the garden, and I had at some point stopped wearing makeup on the weekends. Not as a philosophy, just because the weekends were early and busy and I kept forgetting. My daughter at this stage was at the phase of pure and devastating honesty that 4-year-olds inhabit. She studied me at breakfast one morning and said, "You look different today." I braced myself. I said, "Different how?" She thought about it very carefully. This is a child who does not speak carelessly. And said, "Softer, like a mummy should look." I didn't know what to do with that at the time. I think I was slightly offended in a complicated way. But she wasn't being unkind. She was being precise. There was something in the bare face in the morning with the summer light on it that read as more itself than the prepared version. I've thought about that observation for years. Like a mummy should look. Or perhaps like a person should look when they're still a little bit the same temperature as sleep. And the morning is warm and there's nowhere urgent to be. Come in and look at this with me for a moment. I'm still at the mirror. I know. But I want to say something honest about summer beauty because I think it's the season where the official version of what we're supposed to be doing gets very loud. And I have strong opinions about this. The summer beauty calendar, if you're paying attention to it, involves retinol adjustments and SPF upgrades and self-tanner applications and exfoliation schedules and hair treatments for the heat and specific products for sweat-proofing and heat-proofing and sun-protecting every surface of the body. It is exhausting to read about. And the thing is, none of it is wrong exactly. Some of those things are genuinely useful. But the cumulative effect of all of it is a summer spent managing your appearance against the season rather than simply living in it. Here's the alternative, which I've come to prefer. Sunscreen. That is the one non-negotiable because proper SPF 30 or higher on your face and on any skin that is going to see the real sun. It's not that beauty demands it, but because your face in your 60s will thank you. That is the whole medical case. Everything else is weather dependent and personal. For hair in heat, a loose braid or up, or simply down and slightly wavy from the humidity. The undone summer look that costs nothing and suits almost everyone. A small amount of an oil or a leave-in treatment if your hair needs it, just the ends. The hair that is slightly sun-lightened and a little textured and obviously outside hair is one of the great aesthetic gifts of the season. Don't fight it. For skin, the sun-warmed glow that comes from an hour in the garden is doing more than almost any product. Freckles, which beauty culture spent decades training women to conceal, are extraordinary. They are literally the light of the sun being recorded on the body. I find that reframe genuinely useful on the mornings when I look in the mirror and see them appearing. For fragrance, summer wants something lighter, something citrus or green or very clean, not the heavy amber that works in November, or no fragrance at all. There's something about the smell of warm skin in summer that is its own fragrance, and adding too much on top of it is like putting perfume on a garden. For lips, tinted lip balm or nothing. Gloss if you love it. The heaviness of a full lip doesn't suit the season, something that moves the way you move. The honest philosophy of it? Summer beauty is outdoor beauty. It looks best when it looks like you've been somewhere, not like you prepared carefully at home. The pink on the cheeks from the morning walk, the hair slightly less controlled than usual, the freckle on the bridge of the nose, the bare feet with the slight grass stain on the heel. None of that is a failure of the routine. All of it is the point. Before we carry on, I want to introduce you to something. You're here because you love the seasons and the rhythms of a life that pays attention to the world around it. And I think that means there's a book with your name on it. It's called Daughter of Water. It's fantasy, elemental, lyrical, with magic rooted in the natural world and a heroine who discovers she was always meant for something larger. My husband and I wrote it together and I'm quietly proud of it. It's an NIEA finalist. It has 5 stars from Reader's Favorite, and it also was awarded the Bragg Medallion. You'll find it at dampts.com, that's DAMPTS.com, and on Amazon. The links are in the show notes. If you give it a chance, it means everything to us. Right, carrying on. There was a letter this week from someone who writes, I feel like I can't keep up with my appearance in summer. In winter, I have a routine and it works, but in summer, everything breaks down. My hair goes strange in the heat, my skin is oilier, I sweat through things I'm wearing, and by lunchtime, I never look the way I intended in the morning. I end up feeling less put together than everyone else. Ugh, I understand this exactly, and I want to offer you a reframe, gently, because I think it might help. The problem isn't that your summer routine is failing. It's that your routine was built for a different season and you're trying to apply it to weather that won't cooperate with it. Winter routines are built for cold and stillness. They work on dry skin, on hair that doesn't move much, on a body that isn't perspiring. They work in still, controlled indoor air. They're not meant for June. Summer asks for something different, not a lesser version of the winter routine, but a different one entirely. A routine built around movement, warmth, humidity, and time outdoors rather than indoors. This doesn't mean giving up on looking well. It means learning what looking well actually is in this season. Practically, simplify significantly. One good SPF moisturizer, mascara if you love it, tinted lip balm, something light on the hair, change your fragrance if you have the option, or wear no fragrance at all. Carry blotting papers and a tinted lip balm in your bag and consider those the whole emergency kit. And then, this is the important part, let the season do the rest. The warm color in your face from being outdoors, the loose hair that has been in the sun, the tan line just below the sleeve, these are not failures of maintenance. These are evidence of a life being lived in the summer, which is a considerably more beautiful thing than a perfectly maintained appearance that happens to be indoors. You don't look undone, you look like June. The dressing room this morning has the windows wide open and the morning air has been doing all the work. The hair is almost dry. The SPF has done its quiet, invisible work. I found my lip balm, by the way. It was behind the soap dish on the windowsill, which is where things go when they are not in a drawer and not being looked for. Always the windowsill, every time. I'm going outside to see what the garden looks like at this hour. I recommend it if you have a few minutes. The light this morning is the kind you want to have been in when you look back on June. Does that happen to you, remembering a particular light rather than a particular event? I think about that sometimes. Tomorrow I'll be in the atelier if you'd like to come back. Until then, take good care of yourself.